So, hello everyone. I just wanted to give an update as to, let me just make this even. Okay. Still a little off, but okay. I just wanted to give an update on this possible February cycle. Yeah, we're a couple months out and we are in the beginning brainstorming stages of how to get the funds up. But some of you might be questioning why a second time would be worth it. So, this first time of this cycle, this stimming process, which were the injections, the hormone injections that were forcing my follicles to grow. In the beginning, they track your estrogen level and they want to see it doubling, jumping, tripling. In the first 3 days, my estrogen levels didn't jump much, which could have been because they started me on a low dose because of my PCOS. They didn't want to risk overstimulation, which I had already at the end, but they were trying to avoid that. So we started off at the lowest dose possible, never once increased it, stayed low dose straight across the board, and you usually do this for 10 days. In the beginning 3 days, my estrogen level did not jump. It was odd, but not too concerning at the time because it's been known to happen with people with PCOS. But out of nowhere, it jumped. We were almost halfway through the cycle. It jumped, not a lot, but jumped. It was showing progress. And then it doubled the next day. So Dr. Taylor, was happy about that. It was kicking in, it was working. But then it kind of plateaued. It went up, but not enough, not a lot. It was in the 2000s, and she was hoping for it to be 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. So when it plateaued towards day 8 and 9 of the 10 days, she started getting nervous. She was going off the numbers and really wanted to make sure that we got eggs, because if you wait too long, you can overcook the eggs, sort of speaking. And also, if you wait too long, my body could have released the embryo or the follicles on their own. And if she wasn't there prepared to retrieve them, we would lose them. So she decided to trigger me on day 9. So I missed out on a day. But my numbers the following day were so sky high, she kind of wished she waited one more day. We were hoping for 15 or 20 follicles, which through the process, when you lose some, the more you have, the more you'll end up at the end having. So those are a few things that Dr. Taylor has seen in my first cycle, now knowing how I reacted, that she would change. And she completely has faith that this time around, with these small changes, we would get a better follicle turnout. Obviously, nothing's 100%. She cannot tell me 100% you're going to have a baby after this, and I completely understand that. But it went bad so fast for so much money in a total of 24 days from the start of stimming to the day we learned that we lost all of our embryos was 24 days. I never had the chance to be pregnant. We didn't get that far. I feel incomplete. I feel that we still didn't go 110%. We tried, but other factors stopped us. So this time around, she gave me 3 supplements used for PCOS people, patients, that help produce egg quality. Again, not 100%, but there's been studies to show that it's beneficial. For every study that shows beneficial, there's always a study that kind of contradicts it, but that's medicine. But I'm willing to try anything. I've already tried anything. So, 3 different supplements, lots of stuff to take, powders and pills, and 8 of one and 4 of another. But I'm gonna take them. It's supposed to help egg quality, make them strong and healthy, give them the nutrients they need. Then come February, if we have enough funds and we decide to move forward with a second cycle, hopefully it is February. If not, we might have to wait a few months after that. But she's going to start me off at a higher dose in the beginning, hopefully to boost the egg growth in the beginning, and then over time maybe back off the medications to see if we can get that estrogen level jumping in the beginning. She's also going to avoid triggering me a day early. We want to get the full 10 days of the stimulation medications. And with that, we hope that we end up with 15, 20 eggs. I mean, it wasn't the fact that I had the lack of. I had 43 follicles growing, but they weren't big enough and they weren't mature enough. That means the medications weren't strong enough or given long enough to force them to grow. So that's how we ended up with 11. That then dropped to 9, that then dropped to 2. So that's where we are, and that's why I believe that a second attempt would be ideal. Statistically showing your chances of a live pregnancy increases by the 7th attempt. I don't believe that we'll go 7 attempts, even if this attempt doesn't work. It is really hard to come by that amount of money. I already feel like I owe the world. So this may be our last time. And if it happens, it's meant to be. If it's not, it's not. But again, I don't feel we went 100%, 110% the first time. And we want to try this again. You learn from your mistakes, and the first time we didn't know how I would react, and now that we do, we can tweak the procedure and hopefully end up with better results this time around. Real quick about the embryos, I know I posted a status about it. The 2 surviving ones that went for genetic testing came back abnormal. These abnormalities come completely random. It is not personal to myself. It happens all the time to different women. There's no way really to avoid it. It's just a natural occurrence. It could have happened in the womb as well. If I was to get pregnant naturally, that could have happened. Your egg has 46 chromosomes, which is what we all have. But once the sperm enters the egg, 23 of those release from the egg. They escape. So they have 23 left, and they get their other 23 from the sperm. That's how you get 23 from your mom and 23 from your dad. Sometimes, at random occurrences, when the egg is fertilized, too many leave the egg or too few leave the egg. And that's what happened. If we would have had 5 or 6 embryos, those 2 might have been the only ones abnormal, and the other ones would have been normal because they split like they were supposed to. And so one of them had 45, which was 1 too little, and one had 47, which was 1 too many. It's known that like certain conditions, like Down syndrome, that's an extra chromosome. So those wouldn't have took. They probably would have ended in miscarriage. So that's why we paid for these genetic testings, to hopefully increase our chances at a live birth. Yes, it is stressful on the embryo, but in my opinion, if we are spending this much money, I want to ensure that I'm putting my best chance embryo back. The healthiest, the strongest, the most likely to survive. Yes, as heartbreaking as it was that we didn't do this time around, I think it would have been just as heartbreaking, if not more, if we would have transferred those embryos, knowing that they were abnormal and weak, to end in miscarriage. And it would have been heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to find out that they were both girls. Putting a sex to them kind of made it more real, if that's not harsh saying. At this point, they just look like a bubble with bubbles inside. They're cells. They don't have heartbeats. They don't look like children. They don't look like babies. It's just a cell right now. It doesn't even have a heartbeat. But the fact that genetically you can tell what they are makes me more sad. So rest in peace, MBs, is what I call them, embryo babies. It just wasn't meant to be. And hopefully this next time around, we will have a better outcome. And again, please share my GoFundMe, link below. Subscribe, share, and much love to everyone. So until next time.